So since March, they've revealed an interconnected underground network extending over a kilometer deep beneath all three pyramids and the Sphinx.
So I basically knew that neither of the two teams could possibly have seen the other image. And when I put them together, this was very clearly the same exact tunnel, as far as I could tell. So this was reason to look closer.
That's deeper than 3 Empire State Buildings stacked.
Yes. This is COSMO-SkyMed and this is Capella Space. 2 different satellite systems, and you have the same results. Look.
Wow.
This is very important. It's crucial. This is crucial.
Chris Lehto. Welcome to Lehto Files.
What happens when a satellite physicist in Italy and a field researcher in Egypt start finding the same underground features without ever talking to each other? As a former F-16 pilot, I've used synthetic aperture radar to see through clouds and darkness to paint targets from many miles away. But what Filippo Biondi has done takes this military technology to an entirely new level, using satellites to detect vibrational signatures from structures over a kilometer beneath the Earth's surface. This isn't classified tech. This isn't hidden. The data comes from commercial satellites, 3 different companies. The physics papers are published. One's already published and one is now in peer review. So now for the first time in history, the public has access to potentially open source method for seeing what lies beneath our most mysterious monuments. When Trevor Grassi's 20 years of boots on the ground research started matching Filippo's satellite findings, they realized they'd stumbled onto something extraordinary. Today, they're both here to explain exactly what they found, how the technology works, and why this changes everything. But first, I want to thank today's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Really, anyone can intercept your internet traffic, especially on hotel Wi-Fi or public networks. And that's why I use a virtual private network. And I want to thank Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. A VPN works by encrypting your connection, so no one can see what you're doing online. And PIA has a strict no logs policy. They've been independently audited and even proven in court. Recently, while I was in Texas, I tried to access a site I normally use from Portugal, and it asked me to verify my identity. I couldn't get in just because I was in a different region. With PIA, I can route my connection through home and avoid that kind of restriction altogether. It also works across all my devices at once with unlimited simultaneous connection, so no issues. So if you use my link, piavpn.com/Lehto-Files, you'll get 83% off. That's just $2.03 a month, plus 4 extra months free. The link is in the description. So please consider supporting our sponsors. Keeps Lehto-Files going and made this amazing interview possible. With this tech, we could potentially find out what is really beneath the pyramids and hundreds of other sites all around the world. Welcome to Lehto Files. I'm Chris Lehto, and today we are continuing our coverage of the groundbreaking Giza pyramid discoveries with Filippo Biondi and Trevor Grassi. So today we'll discuss their latest findings, how their different approaches support each other, and what's next for exploring these discoveries. Thank you so much to both of you for being here. How are you doing?
Thank you, Lehto. Thank you very much for this invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much. We tried a couple times before. You guys have been super busy. I know you just got back from Cosmic Summit in the US, and I saw your presentation also in Malta, Filippo. But you both, Filippo and Trevor, you've been working independently for years using different technologies. So SAR from satellites versus ground penetrating radar, or on the ground, boots on the ground, if you will, for you, Trevor. Can you describe the moment when you realized your separate findings were confirming the same underground structures?
Yeah, I could answer that one. It came for me, from William Brown, who I've been working with for a long time at Giza, several years at least, we've both been looking into these questions for a lot longer than when we met each other, maybe around 2020 or 2021. But he had been working on this model of a temple complex that he had been uncovering off to the east of the plateau. And it had a tunnel that was running straight towards the Great Pyramid. And so he had given me a animation of this model of that temple and its tunnel. And I'd been, when Filippo and Corrado came out with their 2022 report on the Great Pyramid, I saw this report basically the first day it was out, and I put these two models together and saw that this one tunnel we had coming into the Great Pyramid seemed to be the exact same tunnel they showed connecting to the northern end of the base of G1, is the Great Pyramid, is what we call. It seemed to be the exact same tunnel, and to me, this was irrefutable. 95 at least percent sure that this was the same exact tunnel, because I knew Filippo and Corrado couldn't possibly have seen our model. We hadn't put it out yet. We released it later in a film that was the third part of the series I made called The Secret Underworld of Giza, but that wasn't out yet. And so they couldn't have seen Bill's model, and Bill couldn't have seen their model because it was just put out in 2022. So I had just kind of been seeing Bill's, and only a couple people on Earth he had shown it to, because he was being very careful with it. And so I basically knew that neither of the two teams could possibly have seen the other image. And when I put them together, this was very clearly the same exact tunnel, as far as I could tell. So this was reason to look closer. And I ended up reaching out to Filippo and Corrado. This was before Armando had joined. And we finally got in touch. And then since last year, we've been talking a lot more and seeing many more correlations. There are actually, I think, 5 or 6 different potential entrances that Bill had detected with some of his GPR scans on the plateau that we believe line up to what the Khafre project has now brought forward under the Khafre Pyramid and the Great Pyramid. So that's kind of what got us started talking together. But now we've talked a lot more. Finally got to meet in person last weekend at the Cosmic Summit, and it was so much fun. Filippo and Armando gave an amazing presentation, filling out the whole map of the other pyramids as well as Khafre. And this information, they shared some of that at the Malta conference the week before, but it took it to a whole new level, showing more of these structures, especially what's even under the Sphinx and along the Sphinx Causeway. So now it's getting very exciting.
And were you surprised, Filippo, when Trevor contacted you and said, I have corroborating data?
Yes.
Did that how did you feel about that, hearing that news?
Yes, it was very exciting because we were working independently. We have had our own results, and then with Trevor we shared our results, and we see that we found a high correlation between our independent works. So it is very good. It is yes. Our activity began now. I think 5 years ago. I think also 6 years ago, when I started studying the pyramids, because I never since then I have never studied the pyramids. I used to confuse also the Khafre pyramid with the Cheops pyramid at that time. So it was like that because I never studied the pyramids. And I approached Corrado Malanga, that he was at that moment very deeply inside this study that he was doing, and I told him if it was possible to collaborate together, because we could have a chance to develop a method in order to see what there was inside the pyramid. At that, in that time, the Cheops pyramid. It was 2019, and there was at that time the Scan Pyramid project. That was the unique project officially that was scanning inside the pyramids using modes. In that time, they announced the existence of a big void located upside the Grand Gallery of the Cheops Pyramid, and we wanted to see if our results was matching with the one announced by the Scan Pyramid project. 1 year ago, joined us also Armando May, and we started, according to my personal opinion, good results that we had on the Cheops pyramid. We started also to scan all the Giza plateau. Just to make a small recap of our technique, we use synthetic aperture radar data that apparently is a well-done technique, but only to make surveys, electromagnetic surveys on the surface of the Earth. In this context, we arrange the method to scan also below using the so-called vibrational communication channel that is embedded inside so it is encoded inside the SAR images. And now we are here talking about the matching of our results with the one given by Trevor. But Trevor, as you told before, he is 20 years that is studying the Giza plateau, and he goes also in situ to make practical verification of what we are doing. I have to thank Trevor because he let me know the existence of the shafts that are located in several points scattered on the Giza plateau, and now we are giving particular attention on those shafts, because those shafts can be crucial for entering inside underneath the Giza plateau for maybe explore the unknown city that we have discovered underneath.
Oh, thank you, Filippo. And there's been a lot of skepticism. I know I was blown away by your first initial presentation. And the way I guess I look at it is similar to laser vibrometry. Basically, during the Cold War, the reason we don't have windows on our classified rooms, right, in our skiffs, is because you could actually shine a laser onto a window. And by shining the laser, it can pick up small phase shifts in the window, right? Will actually change the frequency of the light through small vibrations. And now you can actually hear what's behind the window. So you're able to using optical, so using a laser, you're able to pick up acoustical vibrations behind the surface of that window. Is this a good analogy for what your technique does?
Perfect. It perfectly fits the analogy because it perfectly fits this analogy because it is true that in the environment of, let's say, intelligence, it is now open source this because it is possible to do it. It is possible to grab tiny movements of the laser. No, the frequency is the same. You don't have a changing of frequency, but you have a change into the how you say
the phase
refraction effect. So you have just a small movement of the laser because of the movement of the glass, not the surface of the glass. So in the receiver, you have the so-called displacement with respect of the centrum of the laser, the displacement. According to this displacement, you can reconstruct the time domain wave of what there is inside in terms of acoustics. So if somebody is talking inside, you can reconstruct with a certain approximation the time domain waveform of who is talking inside the room. Okay, just considering the displacement of the axis of the laser that you are pointing on the window. It is the same, like that. We are doing the same thing.
I was just going to ask, why do you think there's so much skepticism then? To me, it seems possible with physics.
Yes, because synthetic aperture radar is difficult. We in the world we are not so much. We are who knows really how to treat data, how to focus data, how to manage signal processing of radar. We are not so much. In Italy, there is a very good school. A very good school from University of Naples, Politecnico di Milano, University of Bari, something at Rome, let's say at Rome. There is something also, but we are people scattered in Italy, and we have some good scientists in Germany, in United States. We are the community in all the world that there is, but we are not so much. So skepticism there is, because and this is good. That, in my personal opinion, is good that can be skepticism, but the physics that is under my technique is all written on my paper. So I am very, I would say, I am not worried about this. It's not a problem for me.
Yeah, it seems there is a difference, though, right? Listening to the sounds behind a single surface window does seem quite different than being able to accurately map all these deep structures down to 1.2 kilometers. So how does SAR technology give you that ability? How does it make it so accurate that you can actually determine that?
Yes, it is very important to stress the fact that we use methods based on fast Fourier transform, which is an approximation of discrete Fourier transform. We know that fast Fourier transform is an algorithm that picks up information entirely on our plethora of information. It is a global operation. That's not a local operation. I tell you, indeed, the measurements are picked up from space, using electromagnetic frequency, using a radar, and so on. Measurements are very, very precise, more precise than a laser that is pointed on the window.
Really? Okay.
More precise than that. Because the orbit of satellites are very precise. The electromagnetic transmissions are very, how you say, are very coherent. So we know everything about the history of signals that we are transmitting and receiving. And so it is absolutely possible to emulate the laser technique to the radar. So if we consider the surface of the Earth like the glass of the window, the vibrational compound that is located underneath can be associated to people that are speaking inside the room. So we were able to retrieve the acoustic information trend along the orbit of the satellite. So once we have the acoustic information trend, it is possible it was possible to arrange an additional algorithm in order to perform the so-called tomographic inversion, and so to evaluate things that are located underneath. hotspots, acoustic hotspots that are located.
I see. So basically, so what I understand is that it's the exact same as laser vibrometry, but you're using it from space, and the synthetic aperture,
It is more than the laser.
more,
Because with the laser vibrometer, yes, you can, if you are lucky, understand some words that somebody is speaking inside.
Yeah.
But you are not able to locate the space,
Right.
the direction of arrival, so where the source are located. But maybe you can do it also, but you need more than one laser. You have to create an antenna. Okay, an antenna.
I see.
You need diversity. You need more than one measurements. If you create an antenna, you can allocate in the space the so-called hotspot. You can allocate. In this case, because we are using the orbit of the satellite, we can also allocate the acoustic hotspots below the Earth, and so measure precisely the deepness.
Excellent. So the orbit, the movement of the satellite is really what gives you an advantage. I remember from fighters, because we used SAR technology in the F-16, and they use it even more so now. But you couldn't be pointed directly at the target. We had to offset from the target so that there is a change in our radial angle to the target that we're trying to image. If you went straight at it, it wouldn't work. So there's an advantage with the orbit, but also what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the synthetic aperture part of it. Because the satellite is so far away and it's moving so fast, now what you have is a very, very large antenna, right? Essentially, you're increasing the aperture of your antenna from just a few meters to, I don't know, hundreds of meters or maybe even a kilometer.
Several tens of kilometers.
Okay.
Several tens of
So it's basically like having a, let's say, approximate 70-meter wide satellite dish out there that also is moving 70 kilometers. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that large. Yeah.
Yes, because you have a plethora of parameters that are not against you, against me, but they allow to do this, what we are doing, because you have a very wide antenna, let's say from 70 to 100
Wow.
kilometers. Then you have also the very high velocity of the satellite, let's say approximately 7 kilometers per second of velocity. And then with this, you can build up your method and so go to rebuild a space version of the laser that is scanning the surface of the wind. But it is more than that, because with one laser, you are ambiguous in approximate the direction of arrival of the source of the vibrations. If you build up an antenna, so if you do several measurements displaced by an aperture, you can reconstruct also the source of the vibration.
And from what I basically understood is that's because of the phase, right? Isn't it? Because if your antenna receives the signal over here, it will be able to tell a different signal here, right? Based on the phase of the wave. Is that approximate?
All the signal processing, yes. All the signal processing that is inside our method is processed everything coherent. It means that each number that goes inside the algorithm is constituted by a real part and a real part and the imaginary part. So you are treating complex numbers. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's amazing. And so I think maybe that's why there's a lot of disbelief, I guess, in the and the civilian community, because if you think an F-16, we're going maybe 500, probably 400 miles an hour, maybe 500 miles an hour, but this satellite's going 17,000 miles per hour. And we're able to scan down using this technology, SAR technology. We're able to scan, it's classified, but further than a targeting pod, 15, 20 miles, out to a very long distance, down to, small sub-meter type ranges. And that's with a 30-year-old radar. And it's a very tiny radar. So I think that may be one of the reasons they can't believe it is just, that this tech is possible. Do you agree? Or okay.
Well, Filippo, isn't that also the size of the synthetic aperture, which you're saying is created by the movement up to 70 to 100 kilometers? That has to do with the resolution you can detect. Is that correct? Like the bigger the aperture, you basically created a satellite dish 100 kilometers wide that can get much higher
Yes,
resolution.
absolutely. Yes, the resolution of targets are directly proportional to the aperture in according to the Rayleigh formula. It is absolutely, I agree, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, and Trevor, you've been exploring these areas, physically for decades. I've had you on the show. If anyone wants to see our previous discussion, how does it feel to see Filippo's technology confirming these locations you've been investigating? Can you share any specific examples? You've already shared one, but any others that you see?
Yeah, there's tons of confirmations we can talk about, specific ones, and I'm hoping to go into more detail about this with William soon and our friend Richard Gabriel. We're going to do an episode specifically covering all these different potential lineups between the two different scan projects. We have one GPR scan, for instance, on the southwest corner of the Great Pyramid that we think might connect into one of the ramps inside the Great Pyramid. We have a GPR scan all along the eastern base edge of the G2 Coffer Pyramid, the middle one, which we believe is showing two of these tunnels that the Coffer Project revealed inside the Coffer Pyramid, coming out the eastern edge of it into the Sphinx Causeway, which is the causeway going straight down to the Sphinx from there. And so we think there's a tunnel coming in from the east on that side. We've also confirmed that there are continuing tunnels coming from the NC2 complex, which is up in the northwest corner of the plateau, coming down and into the west end of the Coffer Pyramid as well. So there are a bunch of them like this that seem to be showing us, very likely at least the entrances into those spaces that we're seeing. But I have for a long time said that I believe there are such huge, massive spaces under the plateau that I don't even call it a chamber or a system or a secret city even. I call it the underworld, an entire world down there. So I was not surprised. I mean, I was to some degree, but I wasn't as surprised as the public when we saw these mega structures, as we're calling them. And I think speaking to what you had asked initially about the skepticism, there's a lot to say that that's going to dissipate very quickly this year, because not only are we now seeing more and more of the scans from the Coffer Project, but we're starting to work on getting second opinions or even third or fourth opinions and other teams to potentially scan the whole plateau and get a whole second set of data from these different teams. But, I actually saw some of these, skepticism is healthy, but absolutely just denying it or hating on the project for no good reason. That's also been something we've been seeing. And some of these people doing that are actually saying that, if they had just found a few chambers that were more reasonably sized and, something we could imagine these people building, it would have been, I would have been more open to it. And I'm like, you expected them to find something else, they found what was under there. We're getting at least a decent idea of what it is. We don't have it perfectly mapped out yet, but what you want them to find something else that's not there, that would have been more believable to you. This is such an absurd reason to be in denial, but the size of the structures, the scale of construction of what we're seeing is so mind-blowing to people that it's so far from the narrative of Egyptian history we know. So especially these people who are still thinking these pyramids are tombs, they're out of the, that they're nowhere close to this understanding that there could be something this much bigger and significant to rewriting the entire history of Egypt. They're in denial simply based on the scale of what we're seeing. It's too unbelievable for them. And that's not a good reason to dismiss evidence that we're seeing, especially if we're going to have other teams start confirming it as well, which is something a lot of people are asking for. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that Filippo had mentioned a potential partnership or working together with Howard Zevker soon, who I know is an SAR specialist who's very respected at Stanford, someone who could really have some good input on this and can bring some validation. But I'm also talking to a couple other teams that do deep geoscans that might be able to also look at the plateau, as long as the ministry allows that to happen. But this is part of what's going to probably be validating a lot more of it as the year moves on and more of the scans come out.
And Filippo, what do you think is your most compelling evidence? Have you come up with any new evidence that you say, okay, this is just completely irrefutable? It seems like you have a lot already. You had the Mosul Dam, you had the Grand Sasu Physics Laboratory, you had the tunnel, at least one tunnel in Italy, and the Osiris Shaft. And is there any new ones that you can mention, or what do you think is the most irrefutable?
We can share, maybe, I don't know, we can share you something.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
The last presentation we had was in Florence, where we made a nice conference in the memorial of Mario Pinkerle. I don't know, Trevor, if you know Mario Pinkerle. He discovered the Z that is located inside the Cheops pyramid. And his brother Leo Pinkerle was a high-level physicist that worked together with Enrico Fermi and Ettore Majorana. This is the presentation of the space sonar, but we don't do it all. Just to show you something about the data that we use. This is a synthetic aperture radar data. You see it colored because here we use 3 different Doppler bandwidths. And these are the pyramids, and it was given us by Capella Space. And then, yes, of course, we can use radar, synthetic aperture radar, for considering also infrastructure monitoring of large infrastructures using interferometry. Interferometry is a well-done technique. It's not my technique. It's something different that is embedded strongly inside the state-of-the-art of synthetic aperture radar. And with this technique, we can estimate the millimetric displacement of the surface of the Earth. So we can do infrastructure monitoring with this technique. But also we can consider also synthetic aperture radar for performing in the oil gas extraction monitoring, because here, while you extract the oil, you have displacement and you detect the displacement from the surface of the Earth.
And this is why I think if this technology, which I think is real, I think it will be unstoppable, right? It just is too profitable for
Yeah.
humanity. And for just as just
Yes.
one example. Yeah.
Yes. I think it is very important. At least, yes, I agree with you. I show you some were born this technique because we made experiments in laboratory in order to retrieve the vibrations of the water here. The water.
Yeah. Can you expand that? Can you expand the screen, Filippo? Yeah, I wanted to ask. I saw your presentation in Malta where you explained this.
Yes.
So did you expected this technology to work when you built this experiment? You know, was it you?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you had the theory already, and then you built this experiment to just prove the technology and to, I'm guessing, to create the software. Is that correct?
Yes. This is something related also to the laser and the glass.
Yep.
Because I tell you, we have a source of vibration, which is this thing here, number 6, that rotates. When it rotates, it transmits vibration to all the structure, which is the table, and also the surface of the water that is contained in this container here, number 3. Here we have a webcam and a computer. It is very simple. So you have a vibration source, water, a webcam, and the computer to store data. While the vibrations are acting on the table, you can watch these vibrations on the surface of the water. Here, look here, vibrations. So you have the waves that are picked up by that are measured by the webcam. So you are seeing nothing of what is underneath the water. So underneath the water, you have these structures here. You have the table, you have things that are located below the water surface. Okay? So what we are seeing, what we are watching is this. Look, you have the structure of the table here. This table. The structure of the table.
Okay, cool.
So just considering the information encoded inside the superficial waves of the water, it is possible to retrieve physically the image of the section of the table that is underneath. Okay? I don't know if I explained it well.
No, you explained it perfectly. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, amazing.
We started from this because you have to say the things how are they exactly. Okay.
Yep.
We started from here. This is my garage. Nothing special. Is my garage. Only my garage. Then we moved from my garage into the space, and so we have performed the same thing, because the webcam is the satellite. Okay, the surface of the water is the surface of the Earth, and the table is what there is under there. So the tunnel. No, this is the Carlin tunnel that is in Nevada, in the United States. We choose the Carlin tunnel because, on the other hand, I am also studying to fit my technique for mining purpose. No, maybe can be used for mining, and so there is a very important gold open pit mine, and so I am also testing the technique for mining purposes. But here there is a tunnel, a railway tunnel, and we have pictured the under here. Look, This is the SAR image that you know very well, Lehto. And let's see if it is possible to make a zoom. Yes. I tried a different orientation. Here it is very noisy. Look, the tunnel is noisy here, but you can also revive something here. But it's noisy because it is not a well done incidence angle. You don't have an incidence angle that you are observing well the tunnel. But changing the incidence angle of the radar, look, you can refocus the tunnel. It is passing inside the mountain. Okay, this is the vertical curtain that we have estimated. So it is like a piece of paper that goes virtually inside the Earth. Okay.
And the benefit of that is it's moving, right? Because the webcam that was looking at the table and the water was just a stationary sensor, and now this is moving.
Yes, this is moving, but why it is moving? We have because this is stationary because it is not just a screenshot; it is a video.
I see.
Okay, but this. It is it is something related to the algorithm because satellite data, you can consider the satellite image just as an image with the maximum resolution, as Trevor explained us before. So using all the aperture, all the orbit, so let's say 15 seconds of integration. Or you can use not 15 seconds of integration, but maybe only 5 seconds. So renouncing on some resolution in azimuth, but then you are able to transform a static image into a small video. And so you recast in the same condition of the laboratory. This is very important, and thank you for giving me this question. So, small video here in the SAR image, you can also retrieve a small video because you don't use all the orbit, but you use a portion of the orbit, and you can shift in time inside the orbit in order to transform a static image into a small video.
Okay.
It is everything written into my paper. If people gets time to read it very deeply, there is written everything. Okay, but you have to spend time to read it, not just say that it is not scientific. People has to read it.
Yeah.
You have to study.
And Filippo, you said your new paper is very close to being submitted for peer review right now, right?
It's finished. My paper is finished. I'm waiting. Corrado give me the order. Submit. Let's submit. It is finished. It's finished. No,
Awesome.
joke apart, we are reading it, and reading it again. So to take it perfect. So to submit it. It's finished. My paper is finished.
Okay, perfect. So we can expect that relatively soon then, hopefully.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
amazing.
absolutely.
Okay. What still needs the peer review process, which is an unknown amount of time, but it's ready to start that at least.
It depends on the reviewers. I don't know, Trevor. It depends. Maybe they reject it. I don't know. We don't know because it is peer review. I don't know. We submitted, and let's say what happens. I don't know. I show you this.
Okay.
They told us they all world laughed about this the spiral stair space, that we announced into the press release. Look here, you have a spiral measure of, this is the Khafre pyramid. And here you are watching what there is underneath here. And here they are clearly visible, the shafts here, and here, clearly visible. And here you have a spiral staircase nature of the targets. Here. This is COSMO-SkyMed and this is Capella Space. Two different satellite systems, and you have the same results. Look.
Wow.
This is very important. It's crucial. This is crucial.
Okay, so from two different sets of data, you're seeing the exact same corroborating structures.
Different electronics, different orbits, different satellites. You see the same. You are watching the same results.
Wow.
So this is very important.
Yeah, you said actually 3 satellite companies now. Is that right? It was just Capella and Umbra.
3.
Now you have
Umbra.
Yeah.
And yes. Umbra is we are not proposing because Umbra is good, but we noticed that the power is a bit insufficient. So we just have it for confirmation and enough. We are proposing nothing about Umbra. In the paper, I think we have only one result. Because they are small satellites and the power is a bit low, but they are good. They're good.
And the depths are just staggering, right? We're talking 1,200 meters, and to put that in perspective for the viewers, that's deeper than 3 Empire State Buildings stacked.
Yes.
So you guys you've had more time than anyone else really to consider this. You know, have you come up with any speculative ideas on why would ancient builders go so deep, and how could they even build structures like this?
I suggest people to. We made an interview, my personal opinion, very interesting, with Christopher Dunn in the Nicole Ciccolo channel expedition, and it is possible to watch it. And there we made some hypotheses in order to consider the purpose of these structures. Christopher Dunn is well known that he is convinced that the Giza plateau was an entire power plant building. In such sense, I agree with him because I am not so expert with respect to him. He told us that, and I agree with him, he is very kind, Christopher. He spent more than 20 years of his life in considering this thesis. He knows very well the Giza plateau in the sense of the hypothesis to be a power plant.
Well, I would add on to that as well. I think Chris Dunn really is onto, as far as many people have had these ideas that the pyramids are power plants in some function, in some way, but he has been not only one of the best, most thorough researchers, addressing that potential, but has also been very encouraging and helpful and open to others that have similar ideas. And I think that between either it being some sort of components within the machinery or the function of the pyramid itself, what Filippo and Armando Corrado have also been bringing forward is the potential that it is some kind of infrastructure like pylons to support part of the weight and the infrastructure, possibly tying down to a more solid layer of bedrock deep below. It could be both as far as I'm concerned. And I think Chris Dunn is definitely right about that function, but there might be other functions on top of that as well. I've been talking to Chris a lot about this, and we're actually all going to be meeting up with Chris in September. We're doing the Pyramids Conference. That's the Global Pyramid Conference outside Chicago in September. That's the 26th through 30th. And Filippo, Armando, and myself are all going to be speaking, as well as Chris Dunn. So if anyone wants to meet all four of us, that would be a good chance.
If I can, if you want, I can share you the presentation because.
Excellent.
Okay. It is very interesting. Here I want to show you the shafts. So here, this very bright hot spot is all the Khafre pyramid here. Khafre pyramid. But we enhanced the contrast in order to make rise the shafts here. Look, they are presented. These are complete. These are existing 100%. These are the shafts that are very deep, go very deep below these shafts.
Yeah, that's amazing. Is that because it's actually intersecting those two in specific that they're showing up so well against the others?
Yes. And
that's awesome.
And what does that have to do with the incidence of the satellite, that you get a certain perspective? Or is that because those are large?
Yes, we are studying also the quality of the tomographic analysis with respect to the incidence angle of the satellite. Yes, I'm studying this.
So you must have better quality from a different angle. Yeah.
Yes. I will show you also this.
Over on the right, before you switch that one, actually, that on the right, that's one of the clearest images I've seen of these spirals. You can really see.
Yeah, the spirals.
Amazing.
Spirals. That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Yes, spirals.
Are they all the same? Do the spirals match like a screw? Are they mechanically the same?
Yes.
Wow.
But the shafts at such height, depression, height underneath, they are also connected one to each other. So you have also some connection that connects them one to each other. I show you also another representation, which is this. I think is very. This is the Khafre pyramid here. Yeah. We are considering the tomography of along this tomographic line here. And the result that we obtain are these. Look this piece of shaft that is going down. They are spirally. They are like spirals.
Yes.
And then look here you have also something, my personal opinion, also very nice, which is here you have an abrupt variation of the energy, of the response energy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We are considering this because here you have, look this, there is water inside here. The water begins from here and goes below. You have the water here. In my personal opinion, these are located inside the water. It goes down.
At that point where it shifts, that might be the main water level table.
Yes. Look then. Look here. You have something that you have a core. This is one shaft. Let's call it spiral shaft. You have a core at the center. And you have something like, I don't know, there are stairs that are spirally going down. Look, like that. Something like that. There is. Look. And you have a core at the center. And here we have our representation.
Wow. And where is the water? What I thought was the water table was further down.
Yes, the water, in my personal opinion, I don't have the pencil here. You are watching the cursor of the mouse?
Yes.
Okay. In my personal opinion, the water begins from here, and here.
Okay.
And goes then goes below, like that, goes down. Yeah.
So are those shafts then, do they have no water in them? Can you tell if there's water inside the shafts or
We have to study. We have to study this. I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, at the moment, I don't know. And
Yeah, well, that's a big argument people bring, is that, none of this stuff could exist because all of it would have to be under the water table. And most of them are saying this basically just based on, we know the water table and the Osiris shaft is about at that third level, maybe 100 feet, 120 feet. But that's just one location where we know the water level. And I keep trying to tell people it can wick upwards in cases, and it can also get drained very easily, especially if we have structures over 1 kilometer deep that could drain a lot of water at once as well. So we don't really know if the water is consistent across the whole plateau.
So this is an imperial, very huge infrastructure. It is not to be considered like separately things like the pyramid, the Sphinx. Those are only caps, hats that are covering something that is deeply made, structured underneath. Look, this I show you Micerino here in this tomographic line. Look, and we are watching the structures that are going down below here. And here, look, this thing here, this is a huge room. Here, this that is located underneath. We have even all the representation on the 3D model that we showed in Malta. This, but we are explaining it very well in the scientific paper. So, and this is the Sphinx. The Sphinx is something different. Yeah, this is the Sphinx. Here we have also the polarimetric representation, not just energy, but colored image. And here, and here we have something below, but something at an intermediate distance with respect to the surface. Here and here. Here and here.
Yeah, do you know exactly what depth that's at, that anomaly B? Or roughly?
I don't remember, roughly 1 kilometer this.
Wow.
Roughly. And here 500 meters below.
Okay.
I want to move to join the Trevor Grassi work that he gave me this very nice. It was very useful, this, because we have given 3 main areas, A1, A2, and A3, where there are huge amounts of shafts scattered on the surface, from the surface. Some shafts of these are visible from the surface, but they are well known. I'm not an expert in this because I've never been in Giza. So this is very nice because I have never went in Giza. I am studying Giza in deep, but I have never been there. I have to go. Yes, I have to go with Trevor. I go together with Trevor.
Okay. I have an idea.
We're working
this
out.
Is a shaft.
Maybe we go after the conference in Dubai in November. I might be going back.
Yeah.
We should talk about it.
Yes.
Maybe go through Saudi Arabia as well.
Yes, Trevor. We have to go. This is a shaft that is one of. There are a lot of shafts, so I have picked up one shaft, and I made the survey of this shaft. And look, we are observing the shaft going below, and at the end of this tomography, we are watching that there is the section of a room. Look here, and inside of the room there are things. Look here.
Wow.
It's not empty, the room. It's not empty. Look. So you have from the surface the shaft that goes down. Here you have connections, horizontal connections, but the shaft continues going down, and arrives here. Look.
Yeah, so that's 1,200 meters down, it's saying?
It's very deep. It's very deep. That's very deep.
Okay.
Really very deep.
That's meters, though, not feet?
Yes.
1,200?
Meters.
Wow.
Meters,
That is
yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Because,
meters,
that
meters.
one that's the one called Campbell's Tomb, which was explored a bit. Colonel Howard Weiss did look into that one, I know, and I think there's a couple other excavations, but they only went down to, again, about 100 feet or so. And that's where those tunnels we've discussed, Hakim Awiyan used to play in as a child. But you're showing it go down so much further than that, which means what they found must have been a false floor, and it continues below that floor.
Yes.
Which is so amazing. Yeah, it looks like a main entrance into the much deeper stuff to me.
When I look at the scans, when you show the images of the scans, Filippo, it's interesting that you can see around the pyramid, it's kind of clean. There's no noise. And then you see the city of Cairo, and there's just a bunch of noise, garbled information, if you will. And I know that you've also briefed that electromagnetic lines, so electric power lines, you're able to pick up. Is the technique?
Yes, we can.
Is it picking up the electricity in the lines, or is it the actual lines? The lines are vibrating because the electricity or the wind, even.
No. I tell you, when I see if there is the slide concerning the electrical, I think this.
Okay.
Yes, these are the electric lines. The electric lines, when are excited by high voltage electricity, they physically vibrates, because they vibrates because of physical phenomena concerning to high voltage.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if you never went under a high voltage pylon. You can hear the ripple, no? Something like that.
Yes.
If you hear the ripple by your ears, it means that the cables physically vibrates.
Yep.
What we did in this experiment, this is a SAR image. In the SAR image, you can watch also the electrical cables here, which is the electromagnetic representation of the cables here. And here we have estimated the ripple given the physical ripple, given by the vibration due by the high voltage energy passing through the cables.
Wow.
Okay. This is very simple. We did it, I think, a couple of years ago. This only to watch the vibrations, and it is very simple because they vibrates a lot. No, they vibrates with an amplitude that is in the millimeter scale. In the millimeter.
Okay.
It is very simple.
So in this case, does that mean that if you'll only be able to use this technique under areas like Giza or deserts where there's not a lot of houses or buildings or people?
Yes, there are some cases. In my personal opinion, I think that the technique doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe we can have some troubles. Maybe because I never tested the technique under a high density of vegetation environment. Maybe there can fail, but it is not a problem. So everything has some limitations. Thank you.
Have you considered using this technique on any other historical sites like Göbekli Tepe? I was interested in that, or other areas.
Yes, we will move in considering other works. We slowly, we are now, we want to finish Giza. We want to try and publish the scientific article, because I remember it is peer review, so we will have a very precise peer review process. So we have to be very careful, and then we will to maybe to examine other sites. In the meantime, we will establish a foundation, so we will be able, if possible, if people will allow us some donations, maybe we can help us to buy other computers, to be a bit more structured, so to give everyone all the response, considering other archaeological sites in all the world.
Oh, exciting! Yeah.
We've been talking about a couple sites. I know I have a list of over 100 just off the top of my head, but I'm not giving you.
There is also South Pole
just yet.
There is all the South Pole to scan. I think that there are 50 years of activities here. 50 years there. I don't know.
Well, that just depends. If we can get you more processing power, then it would maybe be a couple of years we could get to a lot more. So I know my friend Frank had sent some recommendations to look into some of these, crowdsourced computing power, where we could securely get your software up to where we could all be helping to process the images with your software remaining secure on your end. And some of our friends who are willing to fund this as well they're willing to buy you more computers but sooner or later your bedroom, you're gonna be inside of a computer, your whole house. And it'll just be a lot, probably be noisy. If we can get all the processors on the, entire net, all different individuals actually helping to do it, then we might be able to cruise through many different sites. And I know one of the first ones I keep asking is Hawara. It's one of the most important sites in Egypt. I mean, besides Giza, it's definitely my number one suggestion, because we're seeing a new scan from Merlin Burrows just came out from there. We have a geoscan and two other ground penetrating radar teams from earlier on, William Brown and Louis Decordier, who I'm working closely with both of them to bring more information about that. So we do want to see if the Coffer Project can also scan Hawara as soon as possible as one of the next highest priorities. But I know we're all looking a lot.
We have also the Bosnian pyramids. We have other things.
Right.
We will do it.
And Peru, Sacsay Huamán,
Peru,
and Cusco. That's a very important one, because they're working on it right now. They just did resistivity tests and GPR just since last year, and
I think Peru. We will move to Peru also. We have to do also Peru. Yes.
They're trying to do the excavations there now, so it'd be very helpful.
Yes. Arranging efficiently the computational efforts, we can do also 2 or 3 projects in contemporary. So Peru, maybe other things together. It's not too bad.
And I saw recently, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was in Italian, but is it true that Zahi Hawass, he pulled out of the Dubai conference? Is that true?
Trevor.
Okay. Yeah.
It's true.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. This conference,
it's a pity.
GDX.
Yeah.
The Galactic Discoveries Exchange. It was very exciting. He had signed up for it before they invited us, myself, Filippo, and Armando, and we will all be going with some other friends as well. But Yeah, he did come out on Joe Rogan and say straight up, yes, okay, I would, of course, be willing to speak with the Copper Project.
Yep.
And funny enough, that came out the exact same day as we released the poster saying we're all going to be at this conference in Dubai, which will be a revolutionary, never before. Uh, it's one of the first disclosure conferences in Dubai, in the heart of the Middle East, which is, it's the Galactic Discoveries Exchange. It's all of us are kind of at least open to considering these cosmic elements of the story, let's just say. But that's why I was surprised in the first place to see that Hawass signed up for that, and it
Yep.
seemed like a positive kind of step he was taking. But we were at the Cosmic Summit where we got the news that they offered basically, as I had suggested, we had all kind of suggested or been hoping for a round table with Hawass, myself, Filippo, and Armando, and probably our friend Elena Danan, who has worked with Hawass for many years with the French National Academy of Science when she was working in Egypt. And so, they had good relations. They were on good terms with, and we were hoping to get a nice civil, respectful dialogue with him. And that really, it wasn't surprising that he ended up not wanting to do it, but I don't know. I figured he might be pressured into continuing to do it, even if he didn't want to, because it's a very bad look for him to say, yes, I'm absolutely willing to speak with them, and then actually changing his plans and, leaving this conference specifically because he didn't want to give any credit to the team, which is, the exact opposite of what he just said. He would be willing and open. So he actually, we had invited him to potentially have a dinner conversation as well, separate from all of this, with Bill Brown, to try and discuss some of the project that we're talking about for an excavation there, which would be tied in with the Coffer project as well. Because, like I say, these tunnels we're looking at excavating, we do think they connect right into the same structures. So that we hadn't even mentioned, but he wasn't interested in that either. So it's a bad look for the ministry when they're putting forward this image like they are open and willing to considering any technology or new studies. But Filippo and Armando Carrata, they all invited the current minister of antiquities to be present or involved in their original press conference. They did notify the ministry. They invited any level of participation from the ministry or anyone in it. They've all been very respectful to Hawass, to the ministry, and yet, he has been openly calling it fake news, calling them amateurs. These, after Filippo's 30 years and 90 scientific papers or so, absurd to detract from this team in any way. But to say, yes, I'm willing to meet with them and be totally reasonable, and then back out of a conference, change your plans just to avoid it, it's a bad look. So, we still want to be open to Hawass. We want to leave this invitation open to him to work with us if he is willing. It's very upsetting that it did fall through, We were all
just to complete, I, in my personal opinion, I admire the work and the career of Zahi Hawass. All the project has nothing against him, so we appreciate everything about him, his career, excellent career that he has with the Egyptian government, with all the Egyptologists and all the academic activities that has been done since now. So we are respectful. In my personal opinion, in the GDX was a perfect, the perfect ambition to have a round table with him and with his research group. So, if it is possible, I don't know if it is possible, can he change his mind and so go attend the conference? This is the question, Trevor. This is an open request that we can do to him. If it is possible, please, Dr. Zahi Hawass, maybe we can meet there. Also, if you said that you are not attending anymore, but you can also change your mind. I don't know, change your opinion about this.
Yeah, well, I think it's very unlikely he would end up being re-invited or change his mind about this specific one. But I think he's welcome to any time if he wants to reach out and actually talk with us. And like you, I have a lot of respect for Zahi as well. There are a lot of things that I don't agree with, and a lot of things that we have different opinions on. But for the most part, no one, I have an appreciation for the fact that he has been there on the ground for 50 years doing this, and even people who have access above him aren't on the ground like he is every day, working in the field and actually going behind all of these gates, for instance, at Giza that are sealed and locked. He is the guy with the key. There's no denying that. He's the key master and gatekeeper. Those are perfect terms for
Yes.
Whether or not he's the one who's always making the decisions of whether or not people should get access. He does have a vast understanding of what's underneath Giza, probably more so than anyone alive. And for that reason alone, I've got a lot of respect for the knowledge he has on this. And I really would love to get a chance eventually to have a respectful conversation with him, or at least see Filippo and Armando get that chance. So we would like to keep it out there that we're still open to it if he is interested and wants to open up to it.
Maybe we can do a special request. We are available to a meeting with him when he wants, where he wants, and we can speak of what he wants. Better than this.
Well,
we are open to have a meeting with him. Anytime.
I would also mention that I am very excited. The 16th of this month, I'm planning to do an interview with Matt Bell, who's been he's just interviewed Hawass. He's part of this Scan Pyramids team. He's working with them and helping fund their now supposedly getting permission to actually drill in the Great Pyramid and try and access this large void above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid, which is huge news if we can actually get in there with a robot and see it. And so he is actually working directly with the Scan Pyramids team, and maybe we can at least get some conversation set up between other members of the Scan Pyramids team, if not Hawass himself and the Kaffa project. I would like to see if we can try and arrange something like that. If anyone on the Scan Pyramids team is interested in speaking with the Kaffa project, and this could all, I'm also, hoping to discuss with Matt the potential of looking into our project with that tunnel that I said earlier is coming in. This could lead to the chance to actually get into that large void above the Grand Gallery without having to drill at all within the pyramid, which I think would be ideal, because drilling is very risky, and it's better not to if we don't have to. So it's certainly at least worth investigating if this tunnel does connect into the ramps as we believe it does. So hopefully that goes well.
And Trevor, you've mentioned on other podcasts that there are other countries actually now competing for these excavation permits. What's at stake here? Why is it important that independent researchers like you and Filippo, et cetera, get access first?
That's a really good question. Honestly, we've been pushing for an excavation at two locations in particular, right off the east end of the outside the wall of the plateau in the village. And these are far from the Sphinx and the pyramid. There's no risk of damage to any of the monuments by digging there, but this is where we think we can access those tunnels coming straight in, right under the Sphinx and right under the Great Pyramid. So we revealed the location of this subterranean temple right under the Great Pyramid causeway that comes out to the east, and that's the one that has the tunnel connecting in. We revealed it because we know there are already teams, tomb robbers and raiders and people trying to get in there and actually rob it all for the black market. We're losing artifacts. I'm seeing people try to offer me artifacts even. I'm like, no, this should go in a museum. Straight Indiana Jones style is my philosophy. It should be in a museum. It shouldn't be lost. But we're seeing artifacts getting pulled out and disappearing forever. And we disclosed the location of that entire temple complex because we knew that these other people trying to raid it already knew about it. And so it didn't seem like a risk. We wanted to show the world that there is something down there right now that is being raided. And because we did that, there are now 3 other teams, we've been told, trying to get the permit for that location, which we've been trying to get for several years. But we were last told that we had about a 70% chance of getting it. But there's a team from Spain, France, and America that are also shooting for that same spot. And whoever gets it basically is going to have it for years to come. And so if we get it, it would be amazing. And we could show everything, live, filming it before anybody can get in there and take anything. We don't know who these other teams are, but we have to assume they might want to keep these artifacts for themselves or, make money off of them. Might not tell us anything. And if it's strictly a ministry sanctioned project, the whole report will be heavily censored. And, it would be, we have potentially everything to lose or to gain from this. So, whoever gets this location may just get down in there and immediately be able to walk right into all of these unseen chambers within the Great Pyramid, which is, the greatest treasures we could imagine could be in these chambers, especially that one above the Grand Gallery. So, the collective heritage of all of humanity is at stake. We can't even imagine the type of things that could be in there could be at risk. So to me, it has been just we need to push for this excavation as much as we can until we get it. But now that there's competition for that permit, it's even more to an apocalyptic level of we need to do anything we possibly can to make sure that we at least get a chance to be part of the team to document it all before someone else is just in there for years doing work that we're not sure. We have to wait for a report. Like Hawass has been talking about, ever since they found the North Face corridor coming in from the chevrons. He said within months he expected to get past there and get into more of these chambers. But we've been sitting here with no report since then, just wondering, well, how far have they gotten already? Are they already into these further chambers? It sucks to just be stuck here waiting, not knowing. And we really want to try and push for transparency of whoever gets that project. We want to be able to film it as it's happening and really make sure it's done in the right way and protected.
Yeah, it seems the connection between all the pyramids and the Sphinx through these underground networks would just totally revolutionize our understanding of that whole complex, right? I mean, that seems just a huge change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we do think there's connections to the Sphinx from one of the locations we want to dig, and from the Sphinx straight along the Sphinx causeway to the Khafra pyramid. So that's one of the main connections that leads us to believe if we could do this dig, we could find the chambers that Filippo and Armando Corrado all found under and within the Great Pyramid, as well as the Khafra pyramid. And those tunnels would probably connect to Menkaur's pyramid as well, I believe, most likely.
Okay, well, yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, both of you, for all your efforts. I think this really could be one
Thank
of
you very much.
the biggest finds in human history, like you mentioned. And from what I've seen, is you've been extremely respectful the whole time. From all the the names you've been called, or they called your work not legitimate. That you're amateur, etc. I think you, Filippo, have been very respectful, and I think that will, in the end, that'll come out to be the best method. I think so. You're going at this the right way. But so finally, what is your guys' next step? So you mentioned the peer review paper, and then the conference in Dubai. Is there anything else you want to
Yes.
share? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. Before the conference in Dubai, we have the Global Pyramid. I don't remember the name of the conference.
Global Pyramid Conference.
Yes,
Just outside Chicago.
Yes, in Chicago. But before this, on the 27th of July, we have a conference in Spoleto, Italy. In this conference, it is sold out now because we will be 700 people inside
Wow.
a very nice theater, and there we will say other things. We will be three of us, Corrado, me, and Armando May, and also Nicole. And then I think that the organizer is also, which is Francesco Liberati, he's organizing also a live stream for and also in English, so we can diffuse the information also in English. And then we will do the final conference, probably in Verona, but in 2026, because the work on Giza is not finished. Because until we don't know everything about or concerning the complex network of tunnels that are underneath the Giza plateau, we will not finish. But making an estimation in June 2026, the work on Giza will be finished. So we are expecting to finish everything in June 2026.
Okay. Amazing. Is there any way people from the audience can help? You mentioned computers. If we can surround you in computers, is there any way people can help? Is there any sites that they can go to? Or
yes, we will establish a foundation, so we will be able to receive donations. Probably the foundation will be established in Malta. In the meantime, you can send me an email, and if there is somebody interested in helping us, we will appreciate. You can contact me or Trevor Grassi also, and we will give everything about this before executing the foundation, because we need some time to be inactive this foundation, but we are working on it. In the meantime, you can contact or you or Trevor or me, and we will manage how to receive any kind of donation that people are interested to give us for all mankind.
excellent. Yeah, the links, I'll have those in the description. So if you do want to help, I really think this would be just an amazing breakthrough, of our whole generation, maybe humanity in general. What if we learn actual secrets of our history? And it's unbelievable. So thank you both so much for your time and for your efforts. And anything you want to share before we leave?
I guess I just add that, that's some of the promising, exciting stuff coming up next, but also we might be getting more confirmations either of the method itself, or also just the results. If we get more information from the plateau, which could come from new scans, and I'm even trying to track down some other older GPR scans and things like that. But I do want to thank you a lot, Chris, for being someone who's been open to this and really a voice of reason as the debate came out about the legitimacy of all of this. You really were someone that stood up and kind of said, look, we at least don't know yet. We certainly can't say no, or we should at least remain open to it, which I really appreciate. In the public sphere, it was, people were really, a lot of people commenting on this had no idea what the radar technology was at all. And for you to have experience in the military, to have some radar experience, that was really awesome. So thank you very much for hosting this conversation, getting us all together to talk about it more. But we are, as far as the excavation, I believe we're supposed to hear back maybe in a week, about a week, as to the final. We've put in some work to get a preliminary report on some of these locations investigated, which will be submitted with our new application. And this is through William Brown and Richard Gabriel, and I have been working on this. But if we get it, we're going to have the Coffer Project involved in helping with the actual project for sure. But we should be getting a final report on what that application is going to look over within a week or so. And if it all looks good, we're going to submit it and just, hope and pray. And everyone out there, if they want to help, hopefully we'll have the option to actually donate your own computer's processing powers soon. And you'll hear about that as soon as we do set it up, of course. But if they just want to help spread the videos, help spread the interviews, help spread awareness, that's the best help anyone out there can give to the whole project. So it's very much appreciated, as well as donations if you can. We can work that out. But thank you both so much for letting me be part of this conversation today as well. And it's really, really great stuff.
Yeah. So if you're in the audience, like Trevor said, just sharing it and then being open-minded. Even Sabine Hassenfelder, when she said it, it's not legitimate. But she did say it's physically possible. That's what I love. Is it didn't break any physics. It didn't break any physics. But she said it's still BS, right? But it didn't break any physics. And so we need to be open-minded. Of course, there's things we don't know. Of course, we're going to find new physical processes. And if we can answer one of the greatest mysteries of humanity, I mean, whatever happens, you guys, your donation of this with your time and effort and all the spears you've taken, I think will be nothing in the looking back. It's amazing.
Just ending, I can say it's in my book.
Yes.
Because I don't have books. But I can
it's in my paper.
I can say it's in my paper. It's in my paper.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, guys.
Ciao, Dr.
Thanks so much.
Zahi Hawass, because we are respectful. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to everyone.
So what we've just heard could fundamentally change how we investigate our past. Two independent teams using completely different methods found matching structures beneath one of humanity's most studied sites. I mean, imagine if we could solve the mystery of the pyramids, what that would tell us about human history. And the technology to verify this, it's not classified, it's not hidden, it's accessible, right? Biondi, he hasn't shared the specific algorithms, protocols, but now that it's known how you can do this, I mean, he was able to figure out in his garage. So I think anyone else could probably figure this stuff out. And if Filippo and Trevor are right, then that means we're standing at the edge of a new era in archaeology. That's one where satellite data, so of all the world, I'm pretty sure we have all the satellite data we need, along with open source methods, lets anyone participate in uncovering our history, meaning it cannot be kept secret by governments or even gatekeepers in Egypt, right? Once this tech is proven that it works in other places around the world, it doesn't matter what they say about access in Egypt. We can prove it through other methods. So the peer review process is underway. Like you heard Biondi say, There's also more teams looking to verify these findings. And as Trevor mentioned, the race is on for excavation permits. And that could finally give us the ground truth, at least for Giza, right? But again, we can prove this tech in other places. So this story is far from over. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. I'll be following every development as it unfolds. I talk with Trevor weekly. And if you want to support the research directly, I put Filippo and Trevor's contact information in the description below. You can also contact me at my email. But like Trevor said, even sharing this video helps spread awareness of what could be one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of our time. I mean, this is huge breakthroughs. And what do you guys think? What could it be that's down there? Is this just natural caverns that are in a weird spiral formation? That seems very strange to me. You know, are we looking at just massive ancient infrastructure? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to support my work further, I very much appreciate it. I mentioned before, I make less than minimum wage from YouTube. Okay, I do this as like a hobby job. So I really do appreciate all the support. It's not an easy field industry to be in. So you can support me further at patreon.com/Chris Lehto, or you can become a YouTube member like these fine people. Or I really appreciate all the super chats. It really does help. And thank you so much for all your support. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.